Yeah, so Paul, you obviously signed a new contract with Doige the other day. How pleased are you to get that sorted and commit your future to the club?
Yeah, really pleased. It was nice, but in terms of the commitment to the club, and nothing changes on my side. The job is what it is, and I enjoy it. We've had a good sort of return to the club in general. Obviously, we had the relegation, felt a bit and almost false, but a lot of work put into last season to get back in the league, which was a fantastic season in the end. And we started this season off well. Really happy with everything that's going on at the football club. Want to be part of that. So it was, as I said, a relatively easy decision. But again, nothing changes on my part. Want to see how well we can do this year and keep trying to help the club build sort of on and off the pitch, really.
So about 10 days has passed since the transfer window closed now. How do you feel the squad's gelling together? You've had a good week with them training. How's it gone?
Yeah, it's gone well. The lads that we brought in, all were involved at Newport, as in the late ones, and have been involved in training since. As expected, I feel like I've got a good group of lads here already that make that transition for those players very easy and feel part of the group and the squad, which they very much are. And I have to say, training's been excellent since that Newport game. A little bit frustrating, but of course understandable in terms of not getting a game when we off the back of a good win. Feels like we've had a longer break than what it actually is, but at the same time we have managed to get some good training into the players, and the quality of it has been very, very good.
What do you think to the blend of the squad now between youth and experience, particularly for this level? Is that an important thing to have?
Yeah, I think early on in the season we spoke about we haven't got loads and loads of, I think, league experience, but that's never really sort of frightened me. It's something that I'm aware of, but as kind of managers and the staff, we've got some good experience there, albeit you can't be on the pitch with him game day. But I like it. I like the freshness to it that we've got. It brought some players in that clearly want to get some game time, want to gain that experience, along with lads that last season proved themselves at National League level and need to do so at league level. And obviously kept quite a bit of the squad together, but still probably just more than half are new to it. So lots to improve on from our side, but a group that I think are willing to learn, and hopefully can go and show what good players they are.
So obviously the first couple of games you had quite good teams at this level. What do you think the key's been to better results over the last few weeks between Newport, Walsall? What do you think the key to those results has been?
I don't think there's been loads in the games, and I think all the games so far to date have been pretty close, with the exception of probably the Crew game in the cup. You just getting to know each other. More time on the training ground will clearly help, but they've overall not too much has changed in truth. Maybe just that first game, I said I didn't feel we were really nowhere near as prepared as I would like to be. But since then we lost sort of John McAtee, who's obviously been a really big player for us, and that's credit to the players that so far we've kind of dealt well without him. As I said, I'm just really happy with the squad at the minute, but the message is we've got to translate that into games, and as you said, we've started to do that. How often we can do it is kind of a challenge that we've all got in front of us.
You've had quite a good defensive record across the season, but particularly in the last few games. What do you think the key has been to that, and how pleased have you been with it?
Again, maybe in terms of Anthony Glennon being in there, just getting up to speed and getting to know, that they'd be building partnerships on the pitch, whether that's in front of him, whether that's his defensive partners as well. But we defend as a team. That's the first thing I would say. It's about a team effort, same as the goal scoring is. Obviously both sides fall particularly on those departments, but I'm very much a big believer in a hard-working team will have a good defensive record, and vice versa in terms of scoring when we get set plays, things like that. I don't want the centre halves going up, for example, and just making the numbers up. And clearly, with Luke in particular, and he's got on the score sheet. Misha got goals last season. We've got players that can contribute at both ends.
So Harry Clifton's been in good goal scoring form the last couple of games. What has the key to that been? He's been getting. I've seen he's had more touches in the box in central areas. Is that something you've asked him to do? Get more involved in central areas?
Not particularly. We've sort of spoke to the wingers about, or well, I say wingers, wide players, whatever terminology I guess you want to use, about coming in off the line at times, and something that being keen on, all last season and probably before that is certainly making the box when the ball's on the opposite side of the pitch. No point hanging out on the other side. You're never going to score a goal from there. So he takes that on board really well, Harry. He makes some really good runs into the penalty area, and he's had his rewards. I think he scored a few goals last season. He gets into areas where he can, and that's a big part of it. The more you get into a position, so if you're going to make the box on numerous occasions, eventually something will drop. Sometimes it doesn't seem like it's your day, but you've got to keep making those runs, and Harry has got that mentality where he'll just keep going, and like I say, more often than not, you get your rewards in the end.
So looking ahead to Gillingham, they've had a bit of a slow start to the season, but they're obviously playing in a higher division last season. Yeah. What kind of test do you expect from them?
A tough one. They had an excellent point against Swindon when they were played, a large part of that game with 10 men against a team that's very sort of possession based anyway. Thought that was an excellent result for them. As you say, maybe not quite at the start they would have liked, but I look at their team, for example, and they've got a lot of players that have got a lot of good experience that have played higher than League Two. Neil wanted to change quite a lot of the squad around after being relegated, which, in fairness, is pretty understandable because something hasn't quite been going right. So maybe they're just taking a little bit of time to get going. But again, most of their games have been pretty tight. So, it kind of, you'd lend itself to a pretty cagey game, to be honest, from the outset. Whether that's the case, we'll find out, but that's certainly how it looks.